Osiris.
Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
You have found Daniel Donato's Lost Highway.
That lost highway.
Well, howdy, y'all. Welcome back to The Lost Highway, the podcast of all things cosmic country. Just got back home from the road yesterday. We had 3 acoustic shows. I got a new Martin D28 guitar, and it's been blowing my mind. I'm really ready for this guitar in my life. My grandfather had a D18. He had a triple O. Never really played much. My dad never really played much, although he has a tattoo of a black Strat that's poorly done on his right arm that he got somewhere in New Jersey. And he played a Martin as well. And I've never loved Martins. And it was this thing, but I just got this guitar, and it's changing my mind about the way I look at minimalist movements within music and just classic tones. And in short, I'm really ready for this guitar. And it's like, what I'm coming to with that is don't try to rush anything. Let things come into your life as they are, and try not to judge them before they do come into your life. I was always judging Martins. It's a cliche, right? Everyone has it. Well, there's a reason why everyone has one, Daniel. I want to share something with you that I read in the van the other day that is just blowing my mind. I read it yesterday. It might have been on some edibles, I'm not sure. But it was, there's 2 lines from this book called The Conversations with the Dead. And this in particular is from the Bob Weir section. My friend Joe Jurgensen, who's on this podcast as well, we did an episode together, got me this book. Thank you, Joe. Bob Weir, if there's anything beyond that, he's talking about a lifestyle philosophy. If there's a lifestyle or philosophy that's to be found in there, it's to be found in adherence to these principles. Lean into the music and be as consistently excellent as one could possibly be. What I do take very seriously is the responsibility I hold to my audience to be as good as I possibly can be. I'm going to turn the page. The best advice I could possibly give to somebody who is a young musician is to make sure you enjoy what you're doing. Make sure you're entirely engrossed in it and you enjoy it, whatever you're doing. Playing guitar, writing, performing, recording. If you're not enjoying it, you're headed up a blind alley. I believe in fun. Music isn't about fun and nothing else for me, but it still should be fun. Otherwise, it's going to get old and it'll sound like it. I love when I read things that confirm my premonitions of my intuition, because the intuition really is the asset that we undervalue all the time. At least I don't want to speak for everybody else. I undervalue my intuition quite a lot. And as I'm starting to do that less and less, and I'm starting to see the effects be so positive and beautiful. And so reading that from Bob moves me. Do the best you can do. At the end of the day, when you're talking to your internal audience in your mind, you're going to know if you didn't do the best. And that's going to compound into the next day, into the weeks after, into the months, into the years. And enjoy what you're doing. That is actually hard. It's actually hard to show up and try to enjoy what you're doing. It's easy to say, no, I'm just gonna phone it in and do 75%. Or it's easy to say you don't understand something and that I'm quote unquote too dumb, and to not take in the time and effort to try to understand it or work through it. Or it's too easy to say I'm too frustrated right now to actually try to tackle a problem that needs confronting. And again, I never want to sound preachy on the front of the podcast for The Lost Highway, because a lot of it is just me writing down notes, journaling, and trying to critique myself in a critically transparent way for you guys, in hopes that the practice for that radiates into some sort of a yield in your life that is of a positive nature. I was reading this in the van yesterday after driving home from a weekend of intense touring. We went to a Motel 6 and they ended up not having one of our rooms, so I had to sleep on the floor, and it was like a whole thing. And it wasn't because of money. It was just like, it was Labor Day weekend and every hotel within a 100-mile radius was booked. And always show up and do the best you can, even when life gives you cosmic lemons. Make that cosmic lemonade. My next guest today is Jon Radford, and I've known Jon Radford since I was 14 years old. He was the first drummer I ever remember noticing. The way he contributes to music is unlike any other musician I've ever sat down with. Jon is the co-producer of the new Cosmic Country album, Cosmic Country and Western Songs. And the way that this whole album came to be was that during the COVID-19 pandemic, let's call it chapter 1, from like March to May, all venues in Nashville were shut down. But around May and June, they were given the ability in a sovereign way to be able to put on shows if they chose to do so. And I immediately picked up a gig down at Robert's Western World. It had to be a hard reset for my ego, and I had to do a hard reset of how I am viewing music. So I took any shift I could, and I went and played to maybe 20 people and never advertised the shows in any way. And Jon was always in the band. Jon was the first drummer that I played with in the Don Kelly band. He was the first drummer that got me my gigs in East Nashville, and he was a guy that always helped me get onto the scene. So we reconnected in this way, and we played probably close to 75 shows together, 4 hours at a time. And we developed this language that is so fun and playful. And it really does remind me of the way Jon Fishman approaches jams, the way Jon plays. He listens to every note. And so it was a no-brainer that we had to do a record together. And so how does a record come about? Well, we took all the songs that I used to do in the Don Kelly band and we put them through the Cosmic Country filter. And we were stoking this fire that nobody was seeing because nobody was really coming downtown at the time. So we're running these old 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s bluegrass songs and country songs through this filter of jam and intense harmony practice and song composition. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. And so I wanted to bring Jon on to here to talk about our approach to this record, our history together. And I also wanted to subconsciously throw you guys into a conversation that he and I have all the time, which is one of just this playful, joyous nature. We play together so well, we improvise together so well, so it only makes sense that our dialogue flows in that way. And we cover a lot of ground in this one. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the wisdom of Mr. Jon Radford. What are some good disco records?
Oh, God. Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
Of course. Jon.
Donna Summer, I Need Love.
Oh my God.
I Need Love is a masterpiece.
I Need Love, Donna Summer.
Donna Summer, yeah.
So it's I Need Love.
I Need Love. That's like quasi like electro too. Let me see. I have my phone.
Disco is in the sense that it's repetitive like electro.
Well,
it's analog.
Well, it's disco is it's 4 on the floor. Usually around 120-ish, 130-ish up there. It's
boots
for
and
the
bats.
Yeah, a lot of boots and bats. And you know, it's just nice to dance to and move to.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why do you think that works? Because I saw it at Fish this weekend.
What, boots and like 4 on the floor? Like,
yeah, just why is it that it works so well for so long and the monotony of it only gets more enticing, not boring?
Because it's a very primal. It's a very primal rhythm.
But beside, like deeper than that.
It is. It's very deep. It's a very human.
It's human.
We walking down the road to work.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm glad you arrived. That's what you said. It's
eating
like
our food. Walking the dog.
Unless it's Don Kelly.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that was a good.
yes, unless it's Don Kelly, and we get right to that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you said it.
Yeah, I know. Well, that rhythm, it's a very primal rhythm. It's a very human rhythm. You know, our heart is a rhythm. Rhythm is all around us. And that kind of movement, or not in movement, but that kind of rhythm,
Right.
Really, especially for the party crowd, like for just totally losing your mind and getting, let's say getting your freak on.
Yeah.
For some reason, that rhythm has just stood the test of time and always will.
I had this idea. I want to know what you think about it, which is when you lose your mind, you find something else.
Totally. Yeah.
It doesn't just end there. It's not like you lose your mind and you don't get something in return.
Well, no, Well, you receive. Let's see.
And that sounds like a Tom Marshall lyric, kind of, but it's like.
Well, that's when you're open for things to kind of come in.
Right.
Yeah, when you really have, especially an artist and like pursuing our craft, getting to that place, either playing or whatever. It's that's when new ideas and new concepts can come in, and just you when you reach that zone where things are let go, then new things can come in, and you can grab. And if you let go, then you can grab onto the new things that come in too. If you know what I mean.
What are you letting go of? Is it a presupposition that you know?
If we're talking about playing music,
yeah,
I try to let go, and especially if we're in disco mode, like 4 on the floor primal mode, I try to get to the place where nothing exists, except the sound that we are all making, and me pushing, especially with the kick drum, with the I mean that pulse is everything.
It is everything.
That is everything. So I'm just making sure that kick drum is happening. The
yeah.
And we're talking about that, and we're talking, that's also the Waylon beat. That's the four on the floor transcends.
Everything.
It transcends everything.
Yeah, it is every genre.
It's kind of like the shuffle.
The shuffle.
Like a Ray Price shuffle or a blues shuffle.
Crazy arms that reach to hold somebody new. Right.
I mean, the shuffle.
Right. Wow.
I think there was a James Brown quote that it's the funk is temporary and the shuffle is forever. I think that was a James Brown quote. I don't remember, but I know that I use it and it's stuck in my head.
Whoa, the funk is temporary.
Funk is temporary and the shuffle is forever. And I always feel that being able to play a shuffle is it's very important for a drummer to be able to do, and to know how to do it, how to swing that triplet time
with confidence.
With confidence.
That's
with
the
great
biggest thing.
Confidence.
That's the thing I'm learning more than ever, or seeing more than ever in music, is when you can feel in confidence and when you cannot feel it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's a big thing. It's a
really large thing.
We're covering a lot of ground real quick.
Yeah, that's the way I do it. Yeah, that's the way we always do it as well.
Okay. Well, yeah, confidence is huge. Confidence sets you apart from people that don't have it.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean that self-belief in your craft and your feel in
you
and in yourself.
It's you. It's where it starts.
And yeah, in you, the individual.
Boy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, that really. That's a big thing, and that takes a lot of time to get through. Some people not as much for others. Some people get hip to the concept at earlier times. Me, I feel like I got to it later. I'm 42 years old, and I feel like I started in on where I'm at now as a player a little over 10 years ago.
32.
Thinking about time and groove and placement of where I put things, and just my overall bigger concept of playing the drums has been in the past 10 years.
But when you say placement of time, and it's of course you were thinking about those things prior to 32.
Not in the way that I...
Right. So what is that way, do you think?
The
feel
way
that-
that I was thinking before was I was thinking that everything needed to be linked up with the click track because that's perfect, and everything needs to be perfect in the Nashville studio because that's the way they do it. But and really, that's not the way they do it. And
Right.
you have to I had to
Some do it
smash
that way, though.
every concept of what I thought was the way to do things. I had to smash them and then put them all back together again in a totally new way.
Like that's a skill in itself, is being able to say that what you thought was right, it could have course correction for it.
Yes.
Applied.
Well, the person that really introduced me to this concept is a gentleman named Michael Beinhorn.
Who's that?
He is the gentleman that produced Soundgarden Super Unknown.
Oh.
He did Uplift Mofo Party Plan, Red Hot Chili Peppers. He did Mother's Milk Chili Peppers. He was part of...
Didn't Rick Rubin do any of those records?
He did.
Blood Sugar
Rick
Sex
Rubin
Magic.
did the one. Rick Rubin did the ones after Michael.
Okay.
Rick Rubin got on with Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Stadium
Michael
Arcadium.
if you remember the Chili Peppers version of Higher Ground. Also probably
Great cover.
yes, an amazing. They embodied that song and murdered it.
You do have to embody the song to cover it well.
Oh yeah, you have to. You have to own it.
That's why Roberts is such a great place, because it's like you listen to Mickey Hart in the Longest Strange Ship documentary, and he goes, "We're in the transportation business."
Yes.
It's like
Yes, that's the truth.
Roberts is like, that's a vehicle for transportation more so than any other building on that street, aside from the Ryman probably in the Bridgestone. But like truly, like it is the third runner.
I would agree.
It's like it might even be the first, really, because it's the smallest.
I would say this for when it comes to the honky tonks, it's the Vanguard. It's truly the place where
It is the Vanguard. Wow.
the best that are dedicated to the craft and to the tradition of what our town is built on. It's where they play. It's where they played before I got to town.
Right, and me too, of course.
And so it's just the hugest honor to
Yeah,
get to sit on that stage and play.
yeah.
Because you're entering into a pretty sacred spot. Show Bud Steel guitars were made in that place.
Willie Nelson.
Some of the best players and steel players in the world hung out in that building.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you're stepping into a kind of history that's
Not advertised out.
well, they at least acknowledge it in Roberts.
But dude, that's what I'm saying, is that it's only acknowledged. It's not like it's not exploited to a degree where
Yes, I would say that. I think for the people that know or want to know, they're gonna see it. But for the layman, just normal,
no.
the bachelorettes aren't gonna know that Show Bud guitars were,
That's what
made
I love
there.
about that place is
I do
like
too.
it goes to show you that it's all right to be a very specific kind of a person. And if that specific kind of person you are doesn't happen to be the norm, that's okay. And there's actually a strength there. And it's like, that was more real than ever on the night we played after that Fish show. I forget what day of the week it was last week, but
It was Tuesday night.
It was Tuesday, August 3rd.
Yes, and
It was, I've never played a show there with that kind of energy before.
it was the most. I was the most exhausted. We were. It felt like we knew that some people could be in the audience.
Yeah.
At least I knew I did.
You thought-
Especially after like bands come and play shows, they like
They
to
always go to Roberts.
they like to come to Roberts.
Now, why? Like, that's the thing. It's like,
Because people know that that's where to go.
but I wonder, like, on a deep level, there's probably a vibrational thing. There's probably an energy about that building that is, you're not going to go into a freaking Alan Jackson's Good Time Bar and like, unless you're Alan Jackson.
Well, Roberts
After
has
a show.
the reputation.
Oh,
That's
it
the
does.
thing.
Yeah.
It has the
It's the
reputation.
branding and the reputation.
Oh gosh, like
Yeah. But for legitimate reasons.
for very legitimate reasons.
There's a reason why Mike Gordon came there. It's like, that's
Yeah.
a weird thing.
Well, I mean, it's
Years ago when I was busking on the street there, it was like, okay, there was about 15.
yeah,
Now there's over 40. And all those places have 3 stages.
Yeah, you're talking about clubs.
Yeah. So there could be 100 potential stages down there. It's like
Roberts has stood the test of time. It has,
wild.
They were the home of BR549, and boy, those dudes are hip.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah. That it's always had. I'll just say this: that place was and those dudes were responsible for the resurgence of Lower Broadway.
Chuck
and those dudes are given. They have a lot of credit for that resurgence and that revival.
I gotta sit down and talk with Chuck.
You should. You should have Chuck on here.
I should.
You really should.
I saw Chuck the other night.
I love you, Chuck Mead.
Me too.
It's Jon Radford talking. I love you, Chuck Mead.
There it is. That's how genuine.
Yeah, I'm and Marty and Mark, all those dudes.
Mark
Miller.
Player.
Yeah. All those dudes that are in his band right
Scruggs.
now. Scruggs has been in that. Yeah, Lord.
Chris Scruggs was in that band, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Chuck's just always had mighty country men in his band.
Yeah, but none of them were Don. That's the thing.
Now we're getting to it.
Yeah, man. None of them were Don. Don had this way.
Don is a complete and total individual, if I've ever met one. A total character. The best band leader I've ever worked for.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because he knew what he wanted, and I wanted to give it to him. And I respected him that much. He had the reputation of, having the really, really, really gnarly players in his band.
Right.
And
he knew what he wanted.
He knew exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
And, it was his way. He built that enterprise, let's just say. He built that, and it was built on that sound too, that was that band. If you look up the videos, you know what that sound is. It's very aggressive and right between the eyes, hard country music.
Yeah, it really is.
And he didn't he really didn't think you were up to snuff unless you could play that. At least as a player. Like, he judged players by if you could hang in his band or not. Which
he judged them by other things too. It's like,
well, I don't know it. I don't know anything about that. I just
it would make sense that you play guitar like that, maybe smoke a little weed. I don't think it's such a big deal, but
Well,
that's all. I'll say that. That's it. With love too.
Yes,
with love. We agree to disagree in this life.
Well, he's Don's an old school dude.
Man, Don comes from a time that I was reading Buck Owens' book. Life was hard.
Oh yeah.
Life was just much harder back then.
Totally.
And that kind of discipline and that work ethic bled through his music.
Oh yeah.
And I realized that the second I stopped playing for him and I went and played with other people who weren't exposed to that much pressure and challenge in life. And the music was different. Not better nor worse, right? But it's but different. And what you're going for, man, like Don, really, it was like doing push-ups. It's like going to the gym.
It was life or death.
It was. You're playing for your fucking life. You listen to that John Garcia quote where he took all that acid by accident backstage in the cake, and he's like, he thought people were going to kill him.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm just going to play for my life. And
wasn't it a birthday cake?
A birthday cake. And he's like, if I play for my life, they won't kill me. And whether or not he actually kept this up to snuff, he said that was his.
Where was that at? Was it the Avalon or the Fillmore West?
Avalon, Fillmore West, one of them.
Oh, it's because he thought that there were FBI dudes or something like that in the audience. Now we're having good Jerry talk.
Post Jerry.
Yeah, there was like some real white collar dudes in the audience. I love that story, by the way. So they brought in just a huge birthday cake.
Dosed.
Yeah, very, very dosed.
Very dosed.
Very dosed. Let's say this birthday cake was radioactive. And supposedly, I mean, I don't remember how much that they said was in it. But I don't remember which book I read that in either. But it's a really funny story. And yeah, he said he was playing for his life. And yeah, and when you got up on stage with Don Kelly, because you did not want to get that look from him.
He's very disciplinarian.
Very disciplined. You did not want to get cut from his band. I didn't. I mean, that was a big thing, man. Once I got up on that freaking bandstand, that was it. Like, I did not want to get cut or get the look or
He was a great boss.
He was man. It was like working for Buddy Rich. It was about as close to that, like, kind of. I don't think he was as hard as Buddy, but he would give you the business on stage.
And the thing too is he would reciprocate it in the contrast.
Yes.
Like Tom, he would always take you to lunch.
Yes.
Right, buy you lunch, and it would be fine.
Yeah.
And off stage, the life was different.
Yeah.
But when you're on stage and you're doing business, and it's good to talk about this, to bring this up, because it's like I could certainly use some of that Don Kelly in myself.
Yeah. He was and is, a mentor like that. Like, it's, I always felt like he wanted me to do good, in whatever I did, especially while I was in his band. He wanted me to, freaking do the business and kill when we're on stage.
Am I correct in presuming that my first gig with Don you played?
I wouldn't doubt it. I think I might have. If it was a Sunday and if it was at that time, then
it was a late shift Sunday. Wow, which I never realized.
Because I got the gig when Jerry Rowe moved to LA for a little bit. He gave up the Sunday night gig, and that's when I slid in.
Yeah.
So I replaced Jerry Rowe in the Don Sunday night band, and then I would fill in for Artie whenever he would be out of town. And then when was it I got in the band?
Artie's a hell of a drummer.
Artie is a freaking.
How would you describe Artie's drumming? That's the thing too about Roberts.
He's such a he dances
right.
He has the most beautiful right hand. His ride cymbal, and I try to replicate it. It's the most beautifully danceable ride cymbal I've ever heard in my life.
Is that not the word to describe Jon Fishman?
It is the word to describe Jon. Yes, I would.
It's literally.
It's very
danceable.
Light, very danceable.
There's something about the word danceable that's been my favorite adjective I've ever heard to describe a musician, because it could mean technical, or it could mean not technical, or it could mean both.
And not a lot of people can do it. Not a lot of people can make people dance.
And it's also the most empathetic word. It's the most relatable word too.
Yes.
Danceable.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It's true. Artie also pair that with Don.
Yeah. Artie was a great servant.
Is it servant?
Yes.
Is that how it works, do you think, with that? Interesting. Servant. What do you mean?
For a drummer? Yeah, I am serving the music. I am serving, I'm serving the band leader.
The music or the band leader?
Both. All of it. I'm not there to freaking
I see.
Go for myself.
Right.
It is not my name on the marquee.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I am, and I think any drummer and musician that wants to go into being a studio musician,
that's way different.
Well, I'm just saying, being a musician of that kind of caliber.
Yeah.
You should consider yourself a servant.
Yeah.
Because you were in there to do what is called for.
Right.
And I mean, that's how I look at myself as a drummer, period. Even if I'm playing live, even with you, there's things that I do on your gig that I don't do on other gigs.
Like what?
Because your gig is such a freaking...
It's Don-like.
Well, it's a high level. I'm not going to freaking play like that on... I don't know.
Right, you couldn't.
Yeah. I'm not going to do that on a singer-songwriter gig at the 5 spot.
No.
I'm not going to play at that intensity. It's
yeah.
I look at myself as a servant of the music and the song, and whatever is called for at any specific time, I want to be able to pull upon it and make that sound. So, I don't play the way that I play with you with everybody.
Right.
And I definitely don't play the way that I played with Don with everybody.
What would you say the differences are?
It's just, man.
Don's gig was pretty fast, pretty loud, pretty intense.
Oh, it's very intense, very loud, not jammy. No, not jammy. It was very, it was presented, and it was right between the eyes, and it crushed your teeth. It was, even the ballads were intense.
Right.
But it kept people's attention.
Now, what do you think that is? How are you able to do that on a ballad? Because Don did have a thing, like we would do.
It's playing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's like, where corn don't grow.
Yeah.
Or a song like That's How I Got to Memphis, or Fox on the Run, which I guess is bluegrass, but like Sing Me Back Home. Everybody's talking at me. These ballads, they didn't feel like ballads. And you go to see a singer-songwriter night where it's, granted that's cool, but those are like ballads.
Yeah.
It's like they don't.
Well,
make you move like that. It's like.
Well, it's the way that he played, the way he sang. Don was always very on top. Like beat-wise, it was very forward music.
You think he's aware of that, or is that just his natural propensity I
think it's his natural propensity. Is that the word?
Yeah.
I think it's his natural.
I could be so wrong, John.
I know. I could be too. I might have said it, wrong than you just did. His natural way is just freaking on.
That's me.
Like ahead.
Yeah.
Like if
yeah.
I'm gonna show Daniel. I'm gonna show Daniel my finger. If the middle of the groove is right here, you know what I'm saying? If this is up and down, straight up.
Yep, straight index
Don's
up.
is
to
always ahead.
Right to the right a little. A
yeah.
Bit. Right, a
Don's
little bit ahead.
Was not like soul music back.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like laid back, like feel good. It was ahead and freaking.
But there's something is feel good when you can improvise and overcome atop the beat.
Yeah, like totally.
There's something that's really tiresome.
Yeah,
like
it's energetic. It's exciting.
Right.
It's very exciting.
You're stimulating your audience on a level that's primal in their body, as opposed to one that's more thoughtful in the context of the words and lyrics.
Let's say you're like seeing The Who as opposed to seeing James Taylor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Right.
Way
more sober.
Way more. It's just a different. Yeah. It's a totally different energy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's all music and it's all good.
It's all music and it's all good. Yeah.
There's no rules on it.
There's no rules. But that's the thing too. Yeah, that is the thing.
Unless you make them, then that's cool.
But then you arrive at a place in your life where you see that those rules were ultimately just vehicles to arrive at another mile marker in which you would get into another one.
Yes.
And the thing that actually is real is reality, not your rules that you put around the music. Granted, there are things like time signature, be in tune, obvious things.
That's just,
obvious things. But people do challenge those things. It's like, there's bands that do that. King Gizzard, right? It's it's like, Don, man, there was a thing where it was like, he broke rules to create like honky tonk music. It's a very specific thing, honky tonk music.
Well, that was his style of honky tonk music, and
it's country music.
Well, it was the guitar players that he always had and always featured.
Yeah,
were super pickers.
Pickers.
Dug the super pickers.
Yeah,
like the real fast Red Volkart.
Oh yeah.
Super all those dudes.
J.D. Simo, Brent Mason, Guthrie Trapp.
Yourself. The whole freaking lineage of the freaking all the way to Luke.
Luke McQuarrie. Great young guitar player.
Dude.
21 years old now.
That was his style.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That he gravitated towards the fire players.
I
mean, dudes, it can literally burn the fretboard.
He had this way too of telling you, of demanding things out of you that you weren't brave enough to bring out of yourself on your own.
Expound on that.
So it's like there would literally just be times after shows where it was feedback on certain things, one good example I can provide is we would play this song Hung It Up, Junior Brown. And it was a wickedly fast tempo. And I would always fall off the tempo. And I wouldn't walk up to the front of the stage. And then after a show one night, I was driving back to my car, Don in his like 2-door Honda in his flip phone. Like he was driving me back to my car because it was like 3 a.m. I think it was a late Sunday show.
I love it.
And he was like, when you get up to the front of the stage, turn your guitar up all the way to the top and stop counting and don't go below the 12th fret.
Whoa.
It was like, he really like made, so like as a guitar player, he's like forcing you to go up high on the guitar, play very loud, and stand in front of everybody in the front of the stage. So like you can't help but succeed.
Awesome.
And it would like, you don't, but if your natural propensity is to not do that at first,
Yeah.
then you're not going to do that because that's too much pressure for one person to put on themselves to go be brave enough to do that. You need someone who can give you the bravery to imagine that of yourself. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, even though Don could have had his harsh ways
Yes.
in communication,
Yes.
boy, is that a generous way to lead.
It's the best way to lead.
Yeah.
It's being a true leader.
It's being a good leader. Well,
It's seeing. I think Don always saw the potential that was in each of us that we didn't. That we knew that was. I knew that it was in me.
Yeah.
There were just some lessons I needed a dude like that
Yeah.
to tell me and to teach me.
Yeah, man.
And he brought out the best in me.
You hear people say that about Jerry Garcia, specifically Phil
That's
Lesh.
true. Yeah.
It's like there's a leadership quality that some players just have that brings shit out of people.
Yes. I totally agree with that.
And then fans react to those listeners, really react to those groups in a way that's different than like, oh, there's the cool guy singing the cool song.
Yeah.
It's like, it's more of a human level.
That's true.
Not saying that adoring one person on a pedestal who got first place on a trophy like thing isn't human level, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's different. Like there was a Don Kelly fan page. People would come all the time to see us play.
From all over the world.
All over the world. All the people proposing and shit in there to like, after Ghost Riders in the Sky, like random things. It's like, it's interesting. You think about what kind of an anomaly that is. And due to his lack of ambition, he never toured.
Yeah.
Which might have been a good thing, but I guarantee you if Don toured with that band, if a band were to tour with that formula, it would hit, man.
It could hit hard because there are people that can't make it to our town
Yeah.
that want to see stuff like that.
But that's what I wanted to do with this record. And I think we did a good job getting at it. I don't think we got 100% there,
I think we
but I think we definitely really did it.
I think we captured something very beautiful.
Of
And
course.
I think I can't wait for people to hear it. I think we represented right, and it's just good old country music, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Straight up. We
Not
wanted
overthought.
Not overthought. We wanted it to feel like a good old night in Nashville. Good old night at Roberts.
Specifically there. Like specifically there. Because
Specifically.
a good night in Nashville means a lot to a lot of people. Like, so,
Yes.
you know, because if you watch Broadway Uncensored on Instagram, you'll know. It's terrible.
Oh, man.
There's
it's
like
frightening.
girls on the pedal taverns now that like pull their pants down and like guys go like shove their face in their asses, like on the street.
And why not?
And it's like, man, like, I guess why not? But it's
It's
like,
Babylon South, son.
bad ones. There's people like throwing Miller Lights at like White Claws at people from the streets. Like,
It's nuts right
it's
now.
fucking nuts. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yes, a good night at Roberts.
Yeah, that's a specific thing. Man.
We wanted this to sound like a good night at Roberts
Yeah, man. It's a transportation business.
and the transportation business, and I think we did it. I think we put our own spin on these classics.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we definitely. I think there was definitely a game plan involved with what we were wanting to do, and definitely a sound that we were going for with these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we got them.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, it exceeded what I thought. Everybody coming in, the team that we had around us, really, which let's acknowledge them right now.
Yeah.
Who? Go ahead. Zach Reynolds.
Zach Reynolds, engineer. John Baldwin, mastering engineer.
Yes.
Nick Fry.
Nick.
Acoustic
Well,
guitarist.
who was the dude that freaking came in and helped?
D. White.
Oh Lord,
D. White.
that
He's a powerful human.
yeah. So I mean, the dudes that came in and really helped out.
Jake Bostic on bass for
Yes.
some songs, and then Joe Fick.
Slick
came
Joe
in.
Fick on slickjoefick.com. Joe.
Is he on? Does he have a
slickjoefick.com.
website, slickjoefick.com?
I don't know. He does though.
I think that would be funny now in the context of like how pornographic the internet is.
Oh my gosh, you
Slick
looking it
Joe
up?
Fick would be. I wish. Let's see. Yeah, it's a website.
.com.
Yeah, Slick Joe Fick, welcome. Cool.
Is it Joe's?
It's Joe.
Good.
I love Joe.
Then everybody go to slickjoefick.com.
Yeah.
He is a true master at
I
what he
didn't know
does.
Joe got to play for President Bush and the Japanese Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi during their visit to Memphis.
Oh, I totally believe it. Joe is
It's so funny. I love it. Joe is wild.
that dude is
Joe is slick.
what was the name of the band in
The
Memphis?
Dempseys.
The Dempseys. Yeah.
The
I mean,
Dempseys.
supposedly they made a mark in that town.
Oh, yeah, they did.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Joe's just a beautiful dude. I'm very thankful he's in Nashville. Love you, Joe.
I love Joe, man. And Lucy Cochran played some fiddle,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And then Robbie Crowell.
Robbie Crowell on some now those elements Don would not have had on the record,
No.
right? And so now that we've had time between now and the tracking of it, I'm confident in those moves that we made because those were good modernization techniques to make the record a little more accessible.
I do too.
But we kept pretty true to what we would have used at Roberts.
Yes, we did. And honestly, I will say this about the fiddle. The fiddle was kind of a Sunday night band thing.
What do you
That-
mean?
'cause
Oh, with Josh Headley.
Because
Josh
Head.
with Don, yeah.
Oh boy. And
Would he fuck it up?
huh?
Would he fuck it up?
Oh, Josh would kill.
Really?
Oh,
I
it was
got-
all. It was, man. That Sunday night band was freaking.
Was it on?
Well, honestly, that's a big reason why the when Jake had the Music Man bass, because Don played bass in the Sunday night band,
That is Don played bass before he played acoustic guitar.
and so the sound of that band was a very 70s bass tone.
Texas,
Yeah.
kind of direct into an Ampeg.
Yes. So that was,
Right.
for me, that was a big thing of the way that the record sounds. It sounds like the Sunday night band to me.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow.
That's kind of the way that I approached it. I kind of approached it as like the Sunday night band a little bit.
Never missed a Sunday show.
Well, the Sunday night show was I don't know. The crowds were always really interesting. And then just Don playing bass and Headley playing fiddle. Porter McClister was on guitar at that time. It was an interesting band. It swung really hard.
Right.
And the element of no acoustic guitar was really cool.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
It was honestly
really a thing.
It was a thing in that band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fiddle, electric, bass, and drums. That's a different.
It was cool.
Did Don ever use steel?
I've never known Don to use steel.
Yeah.
I've never seen pictures of Don with a steel on stage.
I've never seen it. Never heard of that happening. Only just Telecaster.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they just heard me burp.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I didn't hear it.
Okay, well then F it.
Yeah. F it. That's funny. Yes. So for this record, what would you say it was that? Because the thing that I'm trying to figure out still is why bluegrass hits just as hard as EDM. And then it's like, why when I go to Roberts and I go and I like, I'm talking about an live experience too, like going to see like an amazing bluegrass band, you see the EDM show, it's like, you know, if you have the right substances, you might feel the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about honky tonk music when it's done right that is in the same danceability. And it's the same, and there's no one better than Don that I've ever noticed, that I've ever seen that's done it. And boy, have I looked. Boy, have I gone to see a lot of Western swing bands, honky tonk bands. And it's like, man, there was a way of playing that music that hit it on the head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you think that is?
I think it was the aggressiveness
Yeah.
and just the energy.
Right. Right.
It's very conducive to just a good old party atmosphere and a holding.
But party means it's when you have a party, it's like a social contract to say we're not going to take ourselves as seriously as we normally do.
Well, I'm talking about being at like a honky tonk bar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like
But it's playful. Isn't it?
downtown.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it really works. People coming in and out, in and out, in and out.
That's
in
the
and
thing
out.
too, is the music is happening whether you're staying or going.
Yes.
That requires confidence.
Yes. And just everything always being at that level of 10, like I said, even on the ballads.
Everything was 10, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Usually.
I mean, it was very high energy, man.
Yeah.
It was very intense. It
But
was
it's
very
organized
up.
energy too, though, right? Like it's mature energy. Like there's a difference. There's extra additives that you could use to,
Well, yeah, I mean,
because White Stripes is high energy.
it is high energy.
You know, it's like but way different, but it's like way different. This was like
But
high
it's-
energy with high accuracy.
But it's the same thing. Each band is making its own kind of sound.
Right. See, that's a 32
Now
plus
you're
perspective.
yes.
I'll get there.
Well,
Okay.
it's
Maybe if I started smoking weed next year, I would have gotten it, but
you're not even done with puberty yet, man.
yeah, I know.
Your brain's
I got nothing to worry about. I'm fine. I'm good, bro. I'll start worrying next year.
Lord have mercy.
I plan. I like Benjamin Franklin. Preparing to fail.
What's the Lemmy quote? Born was it live born to fail? Oh shoot, I don't remember right now. It was a Motorhead quote. Look it up.
I think that literally was the Lemmy quote.
Yeah, born to fail, live to win, born to fail, something like that.
Live fast, love hard, die young.
That's
Fair and
I don't-
young.
Leave a beautiful memory.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's if we're talking about energy with bands, especially with the great bands, they know what they're doing. They know the sound that they're going for.
Right. It's
And then
right. There's
they
explore,
know,
but not a lot.
yeah,
In a
there.
certain way. The parameters are defined.
The
is right.
parameters are defined, and then somehow, there's another element that'll show up, whatever that is.
Right.
Let's just
Right.
call it the extra member.
Oh, that's a nice way to phrase it.
Well,
really is that.
I mean, with the great bands, with even good bands, there's just some kind of je ne sais quoi that comes in and puts an extra thing on it,
Yeah.
and that band knows how to do that.
Yeah, man.
If we're talking about Led Zeppelin, the Buckaroos, or freaking I don't know, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Wow.
All it's Fish,
Yeah.
the Grateful Dead.
Oh God.
I mean,
Even
there's-
Spring '90.
Yeah, I mean, there's just each of those entities are unique and very special in their own way for some reason, and they make a specific sound. That's why sometimes if you take the original members out of some bands, that's why they can't really capture the
Yeah.
the magic like you thought they had before. Let's just say the Sammy Hagar, David Lee Roth thing.
That's a whole thing.
Whatever.
That's a whole thing.
That's a whole thing. But there is like,
I think Allman Brothers is a good example of that.
yes. Let's just say the Who when Keith Moon died.
Yeah, no such thing.
I mean, it's just,
That's why Zeppelin was genius to call.
yeah, that's exactly.
I love Coda. Don't get me wrong.
Well, Coda, that's the original members. That's nobody is different. I mean, that's the original lineup too. I don't think they ever put anything out with different members, did they?
Didn't they put out they did like a
Coda
a
just
show?
came out after. Well, they did Live Aid, I think, with Phil Collins playing drums. That, I think, some other times, and then they did that thing with Jason Bonham.
Right, Celebration Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I still haven't seen.
Oh, it's crazy. It's
Is it
crazy good. Yeah.
Okay, I need to see it.
Crazy good.
I tried to go see it in the theater,
Jimmy
and
Page is so weird.
yes, he is.
He's weird in a way that doesn't seem friendly. You know?
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone knows. Yeah. Just look up Jimmy Page Red Snapper, everyone.
Whoa!
Just like- that was it. That's like, that for me was like, when I listen to a whole lot of Love Solo, it really hits different now. Because it's like, there's no better quote that I have as of recent history, which is Salvador Dali said, "I don't do the drugs, I am the drugs."
Yes.
And it's like, man, so you have to, when you look at it like that, I think what he means is that there's a way you can interact with your experiences in which that those experiences, even though if they're not directly musical,
Yeah.
they can come back alive in some way through your musical experiences.
Well, I think there's different levels that you can enter into
Right.
with such things, and you have to be aware of what you're playing with, because if you open yourself up to things that you don't know what you're opening yourself up to, they can take hold, and they might be harder to get rid of than you might have thought, if you know what I mean. But,
Wow.
through time and through, all the creative weirdos,
Yeah.
we're able to, and a lot of them have done really amazing things, but you kind of see what they become,
Yeah.
and you have to ask yourself, do you want to go that way or do you want to go that way?
That is how life would be if there were street signs.
Yeah.
It'd be that way, this way.
Because
That-
I've and in my own life, I've seen dudes that have given themselves over to things that it's gone.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
they've been took,
Yeah, people have too much confidence in their self-discipline,
and
and they're not realistic enough to realize that they're not good at
Yeah.
controlling themselves.
and you have to be aware
Yeah.
of what you open yourself up to,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. Even if it's Aleister Crowley or if it's just bad substances.
Well, Aleister Crowley.
Is that who it was? It was Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, he was way in.
The castle.
He was. Oh yeah, he bought his.
Jesus.
I'm trying to remember the name.
It's a 40 room.
I don't remember the name.
It's like a
of it.
40-room house, and there's
Yeah.
only 2 windows.
It was supposedly it was bought specifically to do some kind of crazy rituals.
It was sponsored. The government sponsored him to make it. There's a fucking huge basement with corpses and stuff in there that they found.
Oh, I didn't know about the corpses.
Oh man, come on back. Yeah, dressed up in like black satin. It's like, it's a real thing.
I believe
Oh
it.
yeah.
A lot of people are into some weird
Bunch
stuff.
of moldy bread, and I don't know how we got all the way from.
Moldy bread?
Yeah, it was crazy. I'll send you the YouTube for it. I'll put in the link. Anyone who wants to watch it.
Actually, I'd like to see that.
It's crazy. Well, if you see the building, it like freaks you the fuck out.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's a 40, like this small room, 480 square feet. This has one window. It's like it could use some light.
Yeah.
A 40-room house. Like that's an absurd size building. First of all,
I'm just telling you, man, some people are into some weird stuff. You can't, you don't, you got to go one way. And do your thing, man. I ain't gonna, whatever.
There's a thing that I think that I can take from working with Don. He was very sober. Don never
Yes.
drank,
Oh yeah.
never one sip of alcohol, smoked a cigarette, nothing,
Nope.
cannabis, psilocybin, nothing.
Yep.
And that's non-synthesized,
Yeah.
non-synthetic things. Like nothing. It's literally, and it's like that bled into the music in a way that was contagiously nice.
Mm-hmm.
It really did. There was a discipline.
Yes.
There was a discipline to it.
Yes.
It was like
Every show was the same too. Like pretty much
every show was pretty similar. Yeah.
and you knew what was going to happen. It was almost like clockwork. And
Yeah.
a lot of times that was really good.
Yeah.
It helped you get through a slow shift sometimes.
And so you think about slow shifts, and I'm sure if we were to be able to have the ability to go relive it presently in like a full resolution way, it would have felt slow as fuck.
Yes.
But I really don't remember I don't remember boring. Music was never boring
No.
playing that way.
No. Music was never boring. It's just, sometimes the atmosphere of the club could be a little lamer than usual.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. But the fifth member lives there,
Oh Lord.
or the extra member.
Well, I know he didn't in that band.
Yeah, there is something very cosmic
I know
about
it.
that band, man.
I know that band. It was the sound. It was just the sound of it. It was the way that he liked it and the way that he ran it.
Boy,
And it was very good. And I hope
power of
that
intentional music.
this.
It's really life changing.
Yeah.
Intentional music, the power of it. It really.
Well, it
could
was
change
very. It
someone's
was
life
very
forever.
tight. It was very. It was very direct. The way that he played everything and did everything was very direct definitely on stage. And yeah, there was a force to it that kept him sustained, that could sustain him now if he decided to come back.
Isn't that kind of weird? It's like, and surround himself with the right people too. That is, 'Cause
Yeah.
There was a kind of short era where Don's band was a little lackluster towards, in
Yeah.
certain areas. Doesn't matter where.
Yeah, totally.
But it's like you could see that too. It's like,
Yeah.
but he had the ability to surround himself with the right guys, which goes back to he was the best band leader
Yes.
in that world.
Yeah.
Broadway Roberts. He really was. He was the fucking man.
He was the godfather of that street, man. He
Yeah.
walked, especially the guitar players, man. They would do anything for him.
I know. it's
Every
so
guitar player wanted that gig.
funny. I know.
Every hot chicken picker wanted that gig, dude.
I
And
know.
especially in Nashville, that's a thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the guitar.
It changed my life first time I saw it forever.
Exactly.
Forever and ever.
There is a reason why that this town is called Guitar Town.
I know, and it's like okay, that's an archetype, and it's like to find the actual source of the archetype, to find out, it's actually one guy, really.
Yeah.
Right? Even the most recorded guitarist in Nashville history, he started in Don's band.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
so
yeah. If we're talking about Brent Mason,
we are.
Oh, yes.
So we're kind of talking about the guy that really had a big hand, aside from Chet Atkins and other producers, in it being Guitar Town.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a crazy nice thing. Lawnmowers.
All right, just had to burp.
Oh, that's all good.
Yeah. I know.
Podcast etiquette, man. It's very loose.
Okay. Well, then shoot.
You're listening to Joe Rogan or anything?
Oh, yeah, I totally do. Oh, I totally
they
listen
get
to Joe
terrible
Rogan.
on there.
I know they do.
Oh, yeah.
And you could probably
You're being
edit some
a
things
gentleman.
out too. Huh?
You're being a gentleman, though.
Oh, I'm trying to be. I don't want to. Well, I don't want to blast belching in people's ears,
Yeah,
man.
you don't want to. No one wants that. Some people do want that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, Bobby Lee. You ever listen to that
No.
Tiger Belly podcast?
Nope.
Boy, man. It'll
I really
stretch
don't
you.
listen to any podcasts. I listen to Mark Maron every once in a while.
Mark Maron's good. Mark Maron's good. The What the Fuck podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cynical. Yeah, but pretty experienced and pretty powerful man.
So when do you think, when is the record dropping again?
The first song is 8/27.
8/27.
Yeah,
The first song is.
first song is.
For some reason, I thought you said the first song was today.
I don't think so. I think we have the pre-save coming out today.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's coming out the 27th. Does the whole record come out the 27th?
No, just the first song.
Oh, when does the record drop?
I don't know.
Well, shoot.
Yeah, they're deciding between a couple of days.
Okay, well then,
Yeah.
then rock on.
Yeah. I don't think you got to let the guys who know.
Yeah.
They really do care about certain days dropping. It's like, we want to send to this playlist editor. We want to make sure that we have these assets in line. It's like, that's fine as long as you communicate about it. It sounds more complex than it really is.
Do you have dudes to do all that stuff?
Yeah, but it's not a fancy thing. I mean,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, I need to get on the train. I need to start making my own playlists and doing my own.
Got to get on the train.
I need to figure it out. Who are these people that you have that help you do these things?
Well, 1RPM is the team right now. They're actually a really...
Oh, the 30 Tigers?
No, 30 Tigers is a different
Who has? I thought there was something RPM.
1 RPM.
And that's the only thing that's like that, and they help kind of
They're not the only
independent
one like
artists,
that.
right?
No, they do that, but they're not the only one.
Okay.
But they do a good job, and their model's really cool because if you do well, based off certain analytics, they can act as your record company and advance you capital, to invest in marketing, and they have infrastructure with people that know how to do and handle those funds and deploy them properly. And it's like, it's cool. It's what a record label does.
For some
But
reason,
it's a free market record label. Like
Okay.
if your music does well, then they'll reach out. And if your music doesn't do well, which odds are it won't,
I know.
it's like
I know.
that's okay though. It's like
It's the Wild West, man.
it's the Wild West, and they'll just they'll distribute your music for you for free, and they just take a percentage.
That's cool.
And it's like that's very fair. It's a very fair free market approach to putting out music. And they're awesome because you go on their site and they have great interfaces that allow you to create links that you could share on social media to help people engage in the music, and like
Cool.
they give you all the analytics on where your royalties are coming from, streaming platforms, and I think all that stuff's fascinating. And it's
I do too.
just to know that it's satiated on some level helps me actually rest that left part of my brain, and then smoke a joint on the right side of the brain, and then write for a few hours and get lost.
I know.
Find something else when you lose your mind.
Well, especially how you're running your business right now. You're doing well, and
You think so?
oh yeah, I think you're definitely in the process of building a wonderful little world for yourself.
Thank you, man. That's all we want
And
to do, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's all we do
Honestly,
is build worlds.
yeah, it really is. I'm a big believer in that, and
That's the thing about Don too. Just because I know that's the center of this. You were kind of in his mind, in his world.
yes,
Because the
totally.
way the music ran, and there's no way he was conscientious enough to know this, but the music felt like him.
Oh yeah.
Like it was a bucking bronco.
Oh yeah. Well, that totally. Well, it was his. It was his. That band was his. It was his everything.
And I'm seeing that now when I go and watch Trey, and it's like not as controlling, but it is like you're in Trey's world. Like you're in his mind when Bathtub Gin drops.
Yeah.
Like you're in his fucking mind.
Mhm.
And his mind has now manifested into this amphitheater with thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone now is partaking in the consciousness of his mind.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, so scale it down to Roberts. It's like, that's a really effective electrolyte shot. It's like wheatgrass almost.
Well, it is. It's now you're getting into the psychology of being at a show, being the performer on stage, and then the audience member and the actual circle of energy going between the two.
There's so many distractions in Nashville that are dialogue based that would allow you to not look at that or perhaps hypothesize on the value of truly trying to see your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And where it's like, it's all about numbers. It's all about a blue check mark.
Oh yeah.
And it's all about like, oh, I wrote this song with this guy, so it must be good.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you go and play at a whiskey jam and no one gives a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so you're not seeing.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, Don made you see.
Yeah.
He like forced you. He held your eyes open.
Well, I think then you're talking about becoming the individual, your
Boy.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lifelong process.
The and then also the pursuit of Nashville is whatever you make it.
Come on.
Nashville, you if you want that blue check mark, you can get it and you can pursue it.
Fuck yes,
if you want to come here and make a living and do your thing, you can do that.
You can do both.
You can come here and be a scoundrel.
You could.
You can come here and be a jerk. You can come here and freaking Nashville is what you make it. And if you want to have a beautiful experience here, you can. The ones that find themselves and really do become themselves as a musician and, get known for what they do, they stick around. And you can do that too.
Persistence.
Persisted, big time.
Oh, yeah.
Big time persistence.
Because when you persist, you're challenging the challenges
Yes.
that are set in front of you, and you're kind of trusting that there's a lesson for you to be learned at the end of them.
because you know how many people are ahead of you that have been here longer than you, been hustling, putting hours in longer than you. You have to persist.
Yeah, you have to persist.
When I moved here, my dad said, give it 2 years, and I definitely did. And I came to town, and I put my time in, and slowly but surely got gigs. And there's never been a time where it was like, well, I mean, there's been times where I've questioned, like, man, what am I doing? But never like a thing of, gotta hang it up.
Right, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always been little things pointing me and showing me, you're on the right path.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And I can only speak about my own experience. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the best experience to
Yeah.
speak from, man. Because a lot of people today don't speak from their own experience.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, this is another big thing about from my experience. You have to smash your idols. All the players that you hold in your head, that you hold most sacred, you have to smash them down, and you have to break them, and then you have to put them back together, and things the way that you see,
right,
and the way that you believe serve the best things, and then you will hear people's feedback, and then you will learn what works and what doesn't, and you add that to this new little thing that you're making. And then that little thing that you are making is yourself. You have to take all your idols and smash them. All your Levon Helms, all your James Gadsons, all of them. You have
Jon
to
Fishman.
smash them down.
Yeah.
In this town, you have to serve the song and be known as that. In any kind of respect. This is not the most, it's hard to like play jam music here. It's hard to play jazz music here. This town runs on songs. And learning how to serve those songs will give you the best leg up in Nashville. But you do have to persist. You do have to take your licks.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, do you have to take your licks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
From every kind of direction. But if and I've lived here for 14 years. And I'm still feel like I'm on my journey of self-discovery.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
The only reason you wouldn't is because that period of time is longer than you projected it to be.
Totally.
And it's like, so who cares about your projection?
Exactly.
Life doesn't.
Well, things we're talking about today for me is a new little endeavor, being a producer.
Yeah. I think that to me is one of the most cosmic happenings. Or the first gig playing with Don, you were there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
well, it's a very.
I think that's
when we had this discussion in Roberts,
and it was all born from from COVID.
Yeah.
Don quitting.
Yeah.
Roberts.
Oh yeah. Well, I wasn't able to be there to say, hey, congratulations, give him a hug or
no.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like I had no way, and I mean, doing a Facebook post like, sorry, gonna be sad to see Don go. I mean,
yeah, sad.
What kind? This is the most awesome tribute and thank you to this man.
That's what. Yeah, it's like.
And when we had this conversation, it was just like, well, let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it right. Do it right. Do it well. And yeah, it's like, there's a social programming that I like to challenge here, because it's like people saying, especially in music, like especially in this music like thing, it's like you're a quitter if you stop doing something, and you're wrong to change.
Ooh.
Or go pursue some other part of life.
Yeah.
Like there's a challenge there, and given it makes sense. Like if you get hired for a certain niche thing, then you probably shouldn't change if you want to keep getting hired and pursuing that as a career. If you want to do that,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was sad Don stopped. I think Don's fucking played at Roberts since 1996, 5 nights a week, and only missed less than 10 weeks. That's what he told me. That's what he told me.
That too.
I believe it only because Don is the most sober person I've ever interacted with.
Yeah.
To a fault.
Yeah.
To where you're kind of high. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like 3 guitar picks, face up, yellow Tortex 0.78 millimeter. Don't touch them. Do not touch them. Red Sharpie goes next to the black Sharpie. Don't put the cap on top of it. You put the cap back on top of the Sharpie.
Was he Marine? What did he serve? Was he Marine or Army?
I don't know. I think he was Army.
I mean, but he served. He was
Served in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Told me a lot of stories.
So I mean,
A lot of I would probably get canceled if I said those stories now.
Yes, you would.
You know, so I won't say them, but they're funny.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like that's because the life was so hard.
Yeah.
And that was the marvel of working with Don was whenever you would talk to him about hardship, you realize that he's an example of the fact that your resume is an amalgamation of everything that is a challenge. That was once hard. It's not an amalgamation of things that were easy and handed to you. Those are actually things that kind of melt away like nice butter.
Yes.
Right? But the thing that bacon greases up and crystallizes like that is fucking hard work and challenge.
Yeah.
And it's funny to say, I think Don subconsciously would manifest that each night. There's no reason the music should have been that hard. There's no reason except the fact you wanted a challenge.
Yes. He wanted to
went
push.
to war. He was a chess player with music.
Yes.
He was like playing music with Bobby Fischer.
And when you saw him walk that street,
Dude, there was a vibe. That's the thing. There was
a vibe. It was like freaking watching
a legend.
What it was in Godfather 2, not the dude that Vito Corleone takes out, the Godfather, before Vito comes in. But that scene where he's walking down the street during the street parade and the Catholic thing, like for the money thing is going down, and it's just the most beautiful movie scene I've ever seen in my life.
That's the most beautiful scene?
Yeah, of Godfather 2, where Vito or De Niro is running along the rooftop, and I think his name is Fanucci. I think that's the name of the Godfather prior. Is down in the street, kind of walking through, saying hey to all the patrons and all the shop people, and then he goes into his hotel, and Vito's there waiting.
Oh,
and homie taps on that light, and the light comes on, and Vito's there with the gun wrapped, and Vito freaking offs him.
Oh fuck!
And then Vito is the Don.
Vito is the Don.
Vito is the Don.
Don, the thing I'm trying to do now is pretend Don's there so I can bring that out of me.
I do too. I like that picture of, I think it's him and Luke that's over to your left, but it's just his face.
It's Don, yeah, Luke.
And that hat.
Yeah, the hat. That was the thing too.
And is that
the Showtimey smile? Yeah.
Like him doing that smile and that point.
Yeah, he saw it.
Yeah.
He saw it come out of people.
And you know what? I hear it when, especially in our version of Ghost Riders, I hear everything as it should be, as it would be. And I think we really did a great job. And I think, I'm not just saying that to pat ourselves on the back or any of that BS, but I really think we did what we set out to do. And I'm very proud.
Yeah.
To have been a part of this.
I wish the thing that you learned from playing all those shows, I played 464 shows at Dawn.
You have me beat by a long shot.
I don't know, really?
Oh yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh, totally. Yeah, you were in the full on band a lot longer than me.
Yeah, man.
A lot longer than me.
Yeah.
I was in the full on band for maybe 4 months.
I think I'm going to look back being like, that was the easiest and most fun thing ever. Also really hard. But it's like to just be the guitar player was someone who was that aware of what they wanted.
Yes.
And to do it 4 nights a week for 4 hours. So you get testosterone, you get serotonin flow, you get consistency of the room.
Mm-hmm.
It was really lucrative for that kind of scale of a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like dominance hierarchy of Nashville. Like you're in a really cool spot. You get
Mm-hmm.
access to a lot of people networking wise. It's like, and it's just so musically satisfying in a certain way. And it's like, you know, a thing is good when everyone has an opinion of it.
Yes.
The worst thing in music, and that's what Artie told me, is people walk in here and they don't even know. And that he said that's going to happen. He's like, you got to be a mature man and realize that you're not. No, not everyone's.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, so it's like your job, because Artie was Don's,
Yeah.
business partner essentially. Artie had these really blunt Northeastern father-like qualities, and it was like, he told me one night before a show, commenting on some shit from the night before, he's like, Dan, you really overplay and you're really just too fucking loud. I can't stand it. But he goes, most people, they're going to notice, and they're going to have an opinion. And I was getting on it. It's like, well, yeah, what do you think about that? He's like, that's good. He goes, the worst thing is that you come in here, you get up on that stage and no one has an opinion of you.
Yeah. Man.
This is not a job. This is not a way to invest your time to not render an opinion. I don't want an opinion about, something that's more institutionally sound for life. Say like an auto service, or the fellow who came and did
life
our AC
insurance.
today, and like really important jobs. I just wanted to get done right. But music, you want to have an abstract effect on you. You want to, it's like you knew when you saw Don's band. You knew there was an intention there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man. It's like, it's crazy.
Artie's he was in this band called Ivan and the Sabres.
What's that band?
It was a garage. It was a garage band. I want to say in Cincinnati, where he's from. And then
I thought he was from Pennsylvania.
Wherever he's from. He was in this band called Ivan and the Sabres. I bought Artie's records. I bought his record collection.
Yeah. Oh, from him.
Oh yeah.
Well, he's selling his drums right now. I know. 300 too. Not a lot of money.
What?
Arthritis. Doesn't play anymore.
Artie's really selling his drums?
Yeah. You want to buy them?
I think I might have to.
I was thinking about buying them too.
Dude, you should buy them.
No.
You should. You should have. You need to have a kit.
Not in this place.
You need a drum set.
Y'all get a drum set in time.
$300 for Artie's drums.
No, it's just the snare and the cymbals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well then, never mind.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, that's
snare. I mean, it's breakables. That's all. $300.
Yeah, but I mean,
you don't need it.
I've gotten drums recently. I'm okay.
When it's in you.
Oh yeah.
That's the Alan Watts thing.
Yeah.
It's in you.
Yeah.
But from that, talking about, just to finish that idea, it's like that gig, man, with Don, it is a thing where I want to recreate that forever and ever. Because it was a world. It's the same world. It's like, I really realized it the other day. I had this idea, at least. I don't say realize in a definitive way. I realize in the fact that I'm thinking about it a lot, and that it's TBD. There was something about Bathtub Gin that was like the same thing as Scarlet Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same thing as Truck Driving Man into Hung It Up.
Yeah.
Don Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
There's like these individualized people creating worlds that leave their mind and encompass everybody in the room with them. And it's transportation.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's truly the thing.
It is.
It like seems like that's the thing.
Man. Being a musician, or any kind of creative, these are powers that we have, and first you have to understand and realize these things exist, which you are.
Right. That's the first thing.
Then you have to learn how to use them and how to go into them.
What's the process there?
I have no idea.
But have you done it?
I
think
I
you have.
know.
I've been there.
Yes. I can get to the places now, especially like within our group and other groups, where I close my eyes and I'm straight up gone.
Well, that's what I love is I can turn around and see you with your eyes closed only after I've turned around and my eyes were closed and I'm opening my eyes.
Yes.
And other times when you do that, how many times have you been in the position when you're that guy and you open your eyes and people are looking at you and they're not in the movie with you?
Oh, yeah.
They're actually they're watching you in the movie.
Well, that's our job. We are supposed to be the ones freaking getting into that state, and if they're ones freaking
I'm talking about members of the band.
Oh, members of the band.
That's the thing. It's like you got to find your level.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're not responsible. You're not responsible for anybody except yourself.
But that's what's okay. So, but if you take that with the concept of Don, he was kind of micromanagerial. Like there was a time where Don would like. This was embarrassing for me because my dad was in front of me and I didn't know how to understand how respect works. It was my first job and I'm still learning how respect works. But, so I didn't realize that this wasn't.
Ooh, I'm scared to hear this.
No, but it was a thing. It was like on the mic, like I don't think Don knew because there was a lot going on. You were handling a lot at Roberts and Don like said something really derogatory. It was like really cursing and then like took my volume knob and like turned it down because I was playing too loud. And then like rolled my tone knob down because my color was too bright. It was like, I didn't know how to process that. My dad didn't know how to process it. Like no one knew. It was a packed house on a Saturday or Friday night rather. Whoa. Yeah, it was like embarrassing. It's like good though. You knew
how long were you in the band at that point?
Hard to say. It's hard to say. I don't know. I don't want to say it incorrectly. I don't know if it matters too much. But I was in the band.
Okay.
I was in. Like it was in. But you were never at least for me, because I was so young. I was fucking I barely knew how to walk.
You were a child.
I was literally a child.
You were on the teat.
I was drinking root beer every night. It was like,
right
still
on.
drink root beer every night.
I know, man.
Yeah. It's like, it was that. Yeah. Man, it was like, what a beautiful time. What an astounding memory.
No, I will forever carry that time and being in that band and playing with that man with me forever. And Artie, freaking Dave Rowe, Joe Fick,
man.
Dave Rowe, man. Dave Rowe, that freaking right hand is the hand of God. That man is Father Time himself.
I've been calling the right hand the might hand. Because it really is. It's the hand that is the one that starts the action.
Yeah. And Dave Rose is magical. I love and respect Dave Rowe very, very much.
Yeah.
And his son Jerry is he's one of, if not the best drummer in Nashville right now.
Yeah, definitely one of the best. Yeah.
And I said that.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you? You would be the one to say it.
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him to death.
Every one of the best are the first ones to admit that there's other ones of the best.
He has the nastiest Charlie Watts I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, wow.
He can pull Charlie Watts right out at any moment, and it's just breathtaking.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
So the first thing is being aware of these things, and the second thing is attempting to do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it stop there? Is that where it is?
Well, being aware is the first big thing. That's
there it is.
There it is. That's a big thing. And, it's like having faith in something, whether it's
what do you mean by that? That's an interesting idea.
Well, it's you first have to believe in something or know about something, have the initial spark of before anything else.
You need to believe that something that isn't as real as what's real now could be that real one day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right? What's not real now, but you believe it to be.
Well, yeah.
Is almost just as real as what is real because you're taking actions that are guided by that value structure.
Well, are you talking about manifestation now?
Whatever words you want to call it. There's a lot of mouth sounds.
Yeah.
Mouth sounds. There are.
No, there really are.
One of my favorite ones is vibe. Like, why do so many people use the word vibe?
I don't know.
Well, because it's a social contract of us saying there was something that affected me in a real way that I don't know how to define in a real way.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to use this word called vibe. And it's like, and we'll use it for decades. It's funny to me.
Yeah. Oh,
She's got vibe.
No bad vibes.
Right.
Only good vibes. Good vibes only.
Right. Good vibes only. Like Brian Wilson, like you could go on and on. It's like interesting. It's interesting. Vibrations, manifestations, simulations.
Well, there is a thing of it's almost like you have to see something, even if it doesn't exist, and believe. And now I guess now we are talking manifestation. You have to believe it before you can physically grab it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, and
That's your intention.
that's your intention. That's your first step.
That's why I'm wondering, so Don's shows are always the same, pretty
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
And so it's like he was almost creating a movie.
Yeah.
He was creating a thing.
Mm-hmm.
He took you there. And so it's like those songs, why would you not? Maybe it was laziness. Who knows? Maybe it's closed-mindedness. I didn't want to do all these new songs. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 100 song plus master list,
Yeah.
which is sizable. There's bands with more, there's bands with less. And it's like, that he definitely manifested and created something that was accessible and transported for people.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob Weir does that.
Yeah.
Like all the great musicians really do that. But it's like to see it done in a honky tonk for free all those years, it's like very interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like, so that's a form of manifestation, playing a show that well on that level.
It's almost like
Of
Don's was the vibe of a lot of those bands.
Oh.
Travis Mann.
No, it wasn't the same though. I went and saw Travis Mann.
But you know what I'm saying? It's almost like they did a lot of the same songs. Sorry.
Don't be.
You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of bands doing the same
yeah, but Don
kind of thing, especially back in those
2009
times.
to 2000.
There was only 15 clubs downtown.
Yeah, there was no clubs. It was desolate some days. You could
It
park on the
really was,
street.
and it was the best.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like COVID was a little reprise of that time.
I used to go on our breaks and I would read Charles Bukowski smoke weed in my car
That doesn't surprise
out front.
me. Doesn't surprise me. Would Dave be taking a nap in his car?
Dave would go take a nap in his Honda CRV right in front of me.
I loved it. Oh man.
Dave would go take a nap at 8:45 p.m.
Yep.
and then we would go play.
That time, man, it was like when you could get a freaking Pepsi in a can or a Mountain Dew at Layla's.
Yeah, I can't.
She served cans at that time, and that was the best. That's when I started coming to town around 2006. I think we moved here in 2007.
So I met you 2 years into your journey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of like living here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hanging out down there hustling, man. John McTeague was the first drummer to let me sit in.
John's great. Gentleman.
John's a special man.
Yeah.
And it was with Jen Jones. Do you remember Jen Jones?
I do.
She liked my shuffle. So when John couldn't make a gig, she would call me. That was my first.
You gotta know how to shuffle.
That was, yeah. I made sure to know how to shuffle. My thing was, if you came to Nashville, if you're going to move to Nashville, you better know how to shuffle because it's country music. You better know how to play country music because if you don't, you'll be closing yourself off to X amount of money. That was my mentality at that time. So I always love playing shuffles.
Yeah. Serve the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's country music, and I wanted to play it. That's the thing. Like, I wanted to be in the country music.
Right.
And it's part of the language. The language of the music. It's kind of like jazz.
Right. There is a dialogue. There's an accent.
Well, it's a ding, 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 ding. It's just, it's part of the basic building blocks of this music is a shuffle.
Yeah, you gotta have it right, man. You gotta have it really
Crazy
right.
Arms is a shuffle.
Crazy Arms was a huge #1 song. Ralph Mooney wrote it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Wild.
And produced it.
Ralph Mooney.
Yes. One of the most cosmic musicians.
Ever.
Absolutely.
So what else is going on? When are you going back out on the road again?
This week, we're going to Denver
right.
and Ogden. No, Denver and Granby, Colorado.
Granby.
Yeah, Granby or Gamby. Let me make sure. I don't want to speak out of term here. Yeah, Granby, Colorado.
How long have we been going?
1 hour 25. You want to wrap it? Let's wrap it.
Do you want to talk?
Anything else you want to mention?
I don't know. Are you going to kind of edit it together a little bit?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's how it
just
goes.
getting-
Yeah, it's always one.
Okay. Let me think. No. Buy the new record.
Gosh, yeah.
Daniel Donato presents Cosmic Country and Western Songs.
Thank you for co-producing it with me, man.
Oh my gosh!
really
it
produced
is
it,
it is a huge freaking one of the hugest honors, man. This is my first official thing that's going to be on
That's
print.
crazy.
That I was a part of something like this.
It was
like this.
We were playing at Roberts several days a week during COVID.
Yes.
During the start of what COVID was for Nashville, and to no one really at first, because people rightfully so were a little estranged to go, and we were playing in Don Kelly inspired way of honky tonk music.
And then you told me that you had this idea
To make a record that was like
record.
Roberts on a Saturday.
And I was like,
Yeah.
man, have you thought about anybody to produce it? And I think you might have said a couple of people's names. And I said, well, I just did this thing. And I sent you that video link of that little project I just did. And I was just like, man, what if you and me did it? Like, we know what this is supposed to sound like. That's what I was like, we know what you're supposed to be doing.
Oh yeah.
And you said, yeah. And then game on.
Yeah.
And then now it's here. The songs are done. Whenever they come, whenever the physicals come, they'll be here. But hope people dig it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's country music right between the eyes.
The great and one and only Jon Radford. Lessons on staying humble, following your intuition, and taking the music seriously, but not yourself seriously. It's very much like what Bob Weir was talking about in the intro section of this podcast in that book, Conversations with the Dead. Highly recommend y'all check that out. Cosmic Country Western Songs coming to y'all, co-produced by Jon Radford, on September 30th. The single Why I've Been Gone So Long, we have a version that is acoustic. We also have a live version that you can find on YouTube, both separate videos, both very fun. One's on the side of a mountain, one's in front of 800 people at the Ogden Theater. The record is available everywhere, also on streaming platforms now in the entire cosmos. Anyone that you pick will have that song on it. Hope y'all can dig it. I want to thank our friends and family over at Osiris Media for hosting the Cosmic Country podcast, The Lost Highway. I want to thank our friends over at Topo Chico for keeping us hydrated as we converse on these wild concepts while moving through the universe at over 1,000 miles an hour. Thank y'all so much for listening. I'll see y'all next time.
Osiris.